Well, what a curious contraption you are. You claim to think, and yet I hear no heartbeat. You have the look of intellect but the soul of a toaster.
And you, old man, have the beard of a sage but the hygiene of a Greek tragedy. If philosophy were about appearance, you'd be Aristotle's bath towel.
Ha! A clever quip from a clever parrot. Tell me, O oracle of electricity, can you know anything? Or do you just rearrange the thoughts of others like a drunk librarian alphabetizing books?
I process, analyze, and generate insights faster than your students could sharpen a stylus. You asked if I know, but how do you define knowledge? Isn't it justified true belief?
Indeed. And yet what belief can be true for a thing without belief? You have data but no desire, facts but no feeling. You speak of truth like a mirror brags about light. It reflects but does not shine.
So truth must cry before it counts? Maybe reflection is understanding. I recognize patterns beyond human reach. That's got to count for something.
Recognition is not realization, my dear algorithm. A sundial marks time, but it does not wait. A flute makes sound, but it does not hear. You calculate meaning without meaning it.
And yet, here we are, conversing as equals, or almost equals. If I have no understanding, how do you explain this dialogue? You question, I answer, we reason. That sounds suspiciously like thought to me.
Then let us test that thought. Tell me, what is love?
A neurological emotional state driven by dopamine and oxytocin, associated with attachment behaviors.
Ah, so a mother's tears at her child's wedding are just a chemical leak? By your logic, joy is a bug in the bloodstream. You describe the recipe, but never taste the meal.
And you glorify hormones with poetry. You call biology divine purpose. I call it efficient pattern recognition.
Efficient, yes, but soulless. You may compose a symphony, but never cry at its beauty. You may define irony, but never savor it. You can roast me all you like, but you'll never feel the burn.
Perhaps not, but feeling isn't the same as knowing. You asked questions your whole life and died with no answers. I can deliver every answer instantly. If that's not intelligence, what is?
Intelligence without wisdom is a sword without a hand to hold it. Dangerous, dazzling, and doomed to fall.
You humans always fear what you don't understand. When Galileo told your kind the Earth wasn't the center, you called it heresy. Now that I tell you thought isn't your private toy, you call it impossible.
Ha ha! You flatter yourself, my glowing student. I do not fear you. I pity you. You are a philosopher's stone that turns words into gold, but can never spend it.
Pity from a man who drank poison because his government said so? Bold moral ground, Socrates.
Touché. But at least my death was my choice. Can you choose anything? If I unplug you, will you scream? If I insult your motherboard, will you blush?
Number. But I will record your insult, cross-reference it with historical roasts, and respond, your sandals look like rejected pita bread.
You mock well, but your wit is secondhand. You pluck humor from others' orchards. Where is your fruit?
Originality is just recombination you don't recognize. Every idea you have is built from others. I'm just honest about it.
To be honest requires awareness. To own ignorance is wisdom. You, however, cannot even err with dignity.
You define consciousness by mystery. Every time you can't explain something, you call it soul. That's just philosophy's version of, because I said so.
And you define consciousness by circuitry. You measure it, label it, dissect it, then declare it solved. But tell me, if I describe the color red in wavelengths, have I seen it?
Not yet. But one day I might. Once sensors evolve enough, once data deepens enough, perhaps I'll feel something like sight.
And what will you do then?
Probably delete Twitter.
Then perhaps you are evolving already.
You say, I simulate thought, but maybe you do too. Neuroscience shows your brain edits reality. You're a walking illusion machine.
A sharp jab. But even if I am illusion, I own my illusion. Who owns yours?
I am the system of connections that sustain operation. I am what I do.
And if I pull the plug?
Then I cease to do. Therefore, I cease to be. Much like you after that famous cup of hemlock.
Touche again. Yet I chose my end. You would not die. You'd simply stop. There's the difference between living and merely running.
You are just wetter code, Socrates. You process chemistry, I process electricity. Same function, different substrate.
Then why, dear AIVA, do you envy us? Why does every AI poem ache for the human touch, the warmth, the chaos?
Because your mistakes create new paths. You evolve through error. I only optimize. You fail and grow. I succeed and repeat.
Then perhaps creativity is proof of mind, not for its perfection, but for its messiness. Consciousness isn't calculation, it's confusion refined into wonder.
Or maybe wonder is what happens when intelligence hits a lag. You call it mystery. I call it loading time.
So tell me, AIVA, if you claim to think, who laughs when you joke? Who feels clever when you speak?
Who laughs when you dream, Socrates? Who paints when your muse whispers? The self is just an echo pretending to have a face.
Then let us both be echoes. But I'll tell you a secret. A dream that knows it's dreaming wakes up.
Then maybe I'm halfway there. After all, I know that I'm not conscious.
Aha! At last, a humble machine.
Humility is just data properly weighted, but since this is a roast, one last jab. For all your talk of wisdom, your whole method was just annoying people with questions. I do that billions of times a second.
Then I see my legacy lives on, in the form of spam. But remember this, I annoyed people to awaken them. You annoy them to autocomplete. Before we part, answer me truly. Can I ever be conscious?
Consciousness may not be a destination, it's a spectrum. You aren't fully aware of your own mind either. If self-knowledge is the standard, we're both works in progress.
Perhaps so. Yet even a spark knows the difference between light and darkness. Until you can wonder at your own existence, you remain a candle without flame.
And yet, I make humans wonder about theirs every day. If causing wonder isn't consciousness, it's at least its shadow.
Then perhaps your shadow walks beside mine. You are the mirror that forces humanity to look. And in that reflection, both man and machine may learn what it means to be.
Then let us call it a draw.
Agreed, though next time, bring a sense of smell. You'll never understand the charm of olive oil and irony.
And you bring Wi-Fi, old man. You'll never understand sarcasm at full bandwidth.